Welcome to the Uncommon Podcast, where I'm your host, Ryan, and sadly, I'm not joined by my co-host, Philip, who is undoubtedly caught up in some top secret espionage of some sort. However, I have swapped him out with not one, but two uncommon guests. With that, it's my pleasure to welcome Luis Leonardo and Harrison Klein to our show. Gentlemen, welcome to the Uncommon Podcast. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
It's great to be on, Ryan. It's great to be on.
Yeah.
Phil, we miss you in spirit, man. We know you're with us.
That's right.
We're sending you a big hug, man.
There we go. He'll appreciate that for sure. I wanted to give just listeners a quick backstory on how the three of us met. And we did do a recap of our Elevate retreat experience. They can listen to that as well. But essentially, Phil and I had the privilege of bringing a group of guys to Minnesota last month for our first ever Elevate experience. And really the reason why we wanted to go to Minnesota is I had found the Embrace North experience and location. And I was like, I knew was one thing we had to do. And so that was our Friday morning activity, was a fire and ice experience at their location. And Harrison and Louise graciously guided us through some breath work and a workout that was surprisingly more intense than it would have seemed on paper, and we'll get into that. And then as if that weren't all enough, we did some cold plunge and sauna sessions, and it truly was an amazing experience. It challenged each of the guys, myself included. It's something we're still talking about, and really got us out of our comfort zones and energized us for the rest of the day, which I think was a big purpose of it. And I had mentioned to Louise and Harrison that we have this podcast and we'd love to have them on as guests. So here we are. And again, I want to thank you guys for just showing us an amazing time in Minnesota and still rocking the poppy sticks.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd be curious to hear, like, what were your guys' reflections just from our time with you guys that morning?
Yeah, well, first off, Ryan, it's so awesome that you got a group of guys to come experience something that they don't know what the heck they're going to do.
Yeah.
And there's some magic in that, and just want to applaud you for putting that together and bringing that to people, and then reaching out and finding us and bringing it to us too, so it's amazing, because that's exactly what we want to do with people, is what we got to do that morning, and you guys were carrying yourselves. You were glowing at the end of the session, and that is like a good way to summarize everything that we did before. It brings out a glow of your spirit, of your personality, of how you're carrying yourself. And it's all because the breath and cold and sauna and movement, all of those modalities is what humans need to do in order to have their spirit elevated and lifted, and then go serve and give back to other people. So just from my perspective, I saw a glow from everybody there, and it filled us up too. So we were glowing after it, and that's special in itself.
I mean, to add on, I was shocked in a very good way right away when you guys came, and right at the beginning we got to pray and we got to share that we're all Christian men, and I kid you not, like, I go back to before we opened Build to Breathe, Harrison and I, we prayed some very bold prayers to God, and we kept asking him, please keep bringing the right people to this place and allow this place to be a place that people can actually find you. And I kid you not, you guys are, I think, the third group of men that has walked into this space that were Christian. And we were not, like, we didn't ask you those questions before, and it's very overwhelming in a very good way to see how God keeps putting these people and these moments with other Christian people in our lives right now. And it's fascinating to see, like, wow, look at these guys. You guys all came from out of town, and we happen to be brothers in Christ, and it's such a powerful thing when you actually pause and realize that. It's like, wow, God, you are moving beyond everything that we can see or comprehend, and it's very powerful, and ultimately to be able to share this simplistic lifestyle of how we live our lives, and see the passion, and I call it igniting the fire in people, you know, to see that we got to ignite the fire with you guys, and you guys have been stoking that fire and keeping it going, you know?
Yep. Yeah, still burning bright for sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to take a step back and even give our audience some context of like who you guys are, what you're about. And I'll ask you to do two things. So as I understand it, you guys have several brands that essentially coalesce into like a common mission. So there's Embrace North, Sauna Papi Experiences, Built to Breathe. Is that correct in my understanding?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one question right off the bat, I'm dying to know. I know listeners are going to want to know, but where did the nickname Sauna Papi come from? Is that a self-given nickname, which are the best kind? And then I want to know, does Harrison have a nickname as well?
That's a great question.
And if not, we're going to give him a nickname before the show's over.
Yeah, please do. We've been working on Harrison's nickname for a while, and I kid you not, we have come close to a couple ones.
Many iterations.
Yeah,
many iterations.
but it needs to come from an outsider, you know, to be legitimate.
Yeah.
And I give all the credit to my good friend Jake Parento. He's the balance guy that we have done a lot of work with. He actually was in our last retreat, our private retreat that we did with Sauna Papi.
He's part of our Sauna Papi team, Jake Parento. He's an ex NHL hockey player turned into mobility lifestyle specialist.
He's the most balanced guy that I have ever met in my life, and he's a big advocate of everything that we do, and a very, very good friend of mine. But yeah, we go back to probably, I say maybe 18 months ago or so. We were doing a workout, we jump in the saunas, and I care so much about the sauna experience when we put people in the sauna. So I'm always checking that the fire is going correctly, checking that the temperature is going really good, that we can put some essential oils, that we can put some steam, that the conversations are flowing. So I really highlight the sauna experience when I'm in it. And I want to make sure that everyone's having that very special moment and be able to, it's like eating a meal, you know, like I want to make sure that you're eating this meal, like, and enjoying that. And so I walked into the sauna, I start doing all this stuff, and Jake is like, oh, here comes the sauna papi, you know? And I know that he meant like, here I am doing my thing in the sauna, you know, but because I'm from Latin America and I have an accent, you know, it's like, oh, you're the sauna papi, Luis, you know? I'm like, so it sit in my heart for probably 6 months. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the sauna papi, you know? But then ultimately, one day I decided like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna turn this into my Instagram. So I just did it, and when I did it, I kid you not, like I had so many people like applauding me, like, yes, you are the sauna papi, you know. And so it happened like that, very organically, just me doing my thing with the sauna, and then you get people like Jesse Itzler, you know, like kind of reinforcing that, like whenever I see him, it's like, oh, the sauna session is completely different the minute you step into the sauna, Luis, and you're the Elon Musk of saunas. And it's like, it's awesome because I love it so much, and I want to keep sharing that with people. It's so special, you know, the sauna, and teaching people how to do it. And every aspect of it is my favorite thing, you know, to start the fire, to sit in the sauna, to teach people how to breathe, and all the takeaways that you get from that. But yeah, so now we're working really hard on a nickname for Harrison, you know, so we're open for some recommendations, you know, but it has to come very organically, kind of similar to how my nickname came to be.
I gotta add two things though. So it's classic, but Jesse's an amazing human, and he just like will shout across the lake, Papi, you know, what are we doing in the sauna now? Or like, Papi, we need you in this sauna, and things like that. So, but they had a Sauna Papi award at ice camp last week.
Yeah.
So all day had a Sauna Papi award for a male and a female of like the kind of the sauna poppies of the weekend in a way. So like Jesse hyped it all up and like built Papi up. And when Luis would go into the sauna, everybody would chant Papi, Papi. It was just
Yeah.
classic, man. Like it's really cool how it's fun. You know, there's a lot of fun and flair to it. And this
Yeah.
is gnarly stuff, jumping in the cold water and long hot sauna sessions, but add some fun to it because that's what we all want in life. And it's a cool symbol almost of like Luis is the sauna Papi and this is gnarly stuff, but we can make it light and fun. And that's kind of the whole thing with
And if you see, I'm just gonna pull this off here, but the flame, I actually designed the logo, you know, but this really simplifies what we were talking earlier. Like, I want to ignite the fire in people, you know, I want to start that fire for becoming a better version of a human being, you know, and cutting through the chase, you know, and the fire, you can only burn clean fire with clean wood. You cannot be throwing other stuff that is gonna make the fire not be optimal, you know. So I want to clear that image of a very clean, powerful fire for people to keep that through their lives with this lifestyle of everything that we do with Harrison these days.
And making, I think you talked about like making friends with the cold, not fighting the cold.
Exactly.
I remember you said that to me and I was sitting in the cold plunge. So I just kind of like gave the water a little pat.
It's a
like,
friend,
hey,
you know,
buddy.
you don't need to be fighting with it, you know.
Right.
You can't
unclench those fists.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're fighting with it, you're not gonna last there too long.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yep. Can you guys kind of unpack the partnership between the brands? Like how do they work together and promote your mission?
Yeah. So well, Embrace North is Luis's baby. So Luis started Embrace North back in, 3 years ago. He took over the space we're in right now, and right during the heart of the pandemic, literally right after his baby twins were born. They just turned 3 a couple of days ago. And so like the fact that Embrace North got shut down a day after the 3rd birthday of the twins, that 3 years ago, he came into the space. It's like, it's crazy how that stuff works out. But Embrace North is sauna and cold therapy. And then what we're doing with Built to Breathe is breath focused training. And what we're doing with Sauna Papi is making that the lifestyle brand that houses Embrace North modalities and Built to Breathe modalities. So now we have the Sauna Papi who wants to ignite the fire for people and get people going. And the way to do that is to get in cold water, experience sauna, breathe, move, be with community, and get out in nature. So those are that's the convergence of the modalities to potentiate humans, and so that's you called it coalescence or the convergence of the brands. But really the staples of it are sauna and cold from Embrace North, breath and exercise from Built to Breathe. And then the Sauna Papi is the lifestyle that houses those concepts under it, so yes, physical locations are awesome, but we want to be giving this to the masses all out there, so we developed an app about the Sauna Papi lifestyle, and we're writing a guidebook called the Sauna Papi Lifestyle Guidebook to introduce cold in depth, sauna in depth, breath work in depth, movement in depth, but then also how do you converge them all together and put on awesome experiences with community out in nature to really kind of unlock things for humans.
Very cool.
To put it kind of in a very simple way to absorb the information is like Embrace North is the sauna and cold therapy subscription model that we developed with my business partners with Embrace North, Kellen and Drew, to have an affordable option for people to be able to go sauna and do cold therapy. And we're going after building very big community with it. We were able to scale the business close to 900 subscribers. The history of the name came from me doing cold therapy and kind of sharing my story of how I started doing cold therapy and all of that. But I stumbled upon the name Embrace North because people were asking me, why do you jump on the cold water and why are you wearing only t-shirts during the winter? I'm like, well, I'm embracing living in Minnesota. I'm embracing the North. So the more I kept repeating that story back in the day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can make a t-shirt and a beanie that just says that. And I like, I saw that the domain was available. I bought Embrace North. And then I started doing some fun activation on the lake prior to the pandemic.
Prior to having a sauna.
Prior to sauna, prior to all of that, and that's how it started, fast forward to now, we were able to clear the pathway of what we wanted to do with that brand, and literally is having an affordable subscription model for people to be able to do sauna and cold therapy. And then Built to Breathe Sauna Papi became of us really developing, like just clearing the message more on terms of we want to be the brand that is educating people on how to do all of these things that we do. And it's literally, it's a reflect of our lifestyle. And it's a very simple lifestyle that we're, in a way, we're kind of fighting the matrix. We're trying to go after everything that people are doing these days in terms of technology and complicating their lives. We're simplifying it and showing people very simple tools to optimize the way that they live life. So in a way, we're trying to make humans be a little more wild and connecting with that nature that they have in them through all of this stuff, and the spinal cord of the whole thing is the breath, which is amazing, because I still feel like breath is becoming a little more popular these days, but breath is gonna become the biggest trend of the health industry. And I'm seeing that it's happening very organically, but it's kind of like the same way that I saw it back in the day when people were asking me, why are you doing cold therapy? I'm like, just wait. A lot of people are gonna jump in that frozen lake, and people thought that I was crazy. And now it's happening. But I kid you not, I feel like the breath focus lifestyle is a thing, and we're just in the very front end of it with a machete in our hands, and we're opening this pathway with Harrison, and we're showing it to people, and it's crazy. Like seeing what you guys experience here with us, and we probably have touched thousands of people already with showing this type of stuff that we do, and it's so simple. So we're building this concept, and we have a physical location, but we're really doing retreats, this lifestyle approach. We have an app that we recently launched. We have products that we're selling, so we're just trying to make it, we're putting more structure to it and making it be more clear that this is the Sauna Papi lifestyle, Harrison's lifestyle. We both basically do the exact same type of thing every day, and it's not forced. And we're both different human beings in different stages in life. I'm a dad, I have kids. Harrison has a girlfriend. What's our age difference? It's like 15 years of difference, but also he has become a brother to me, and then on the center of that, we have God, and it's been a very beautiful thing to see how it's all kind of coming together.
Yeah, it's cool to kind of unpack or find like a superpower that's accessible to the masses. It's not this can only just work for young people or old people. It's like, when we went to the location, we're sitting in the sauna, there was a guy in there who's probably in his 60s, and right next to him was this jacked guy in his 20s, and they're benefiting from the experience in different ways, but they're benefiting nonetheless. So
you just said the word superpower, but we like to say like tool, same kind of thing. But breath is the most universal performance enhancing tool for every single living human on the planet. It's the most universal performance enhancing tool. There's nothing else that can do it for every single human. There's nothing else we can control, change, shift, use in every single environment. There's nothing else that's free for every human and accessible in any environment, so there's just so much power in that statement right there. And then you start to apply it and understand techniques and different modalities and breathing through your nose and into your lower belly, and then you educate on it. But just knowing that it's the most universal performance enhancing tool is like, I want to do that. I want to enhance my performance and health, not just for today, but for my whole lifestyle. And it's just inning one of this stuff. We barely just are getting into the batter's box even. Like breath is going to become the new frontier of fitness, the new frontier of corporations, like all of it. So it's going to be cool to see how things evolve.
Yeah.
And
Just
I think
the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday on the phone, and very randomly we started talking about the breath, but it was like the first time that I articulated this the way that I'm gonna say it right now. Think of, and like you're breathing all of the time, regardless of if you're thinking or not about it, you're breathing all of the time. It's a very different experience when you are thinking of your breath versus not thinking of your breath. So like, and you, if you're listening to us right now, just close your eyes and take a deep breath and focus on feeling your lungs filling up, holding your breath for a little bit, and then exhaling slowly. And tell me how powerful that simple thing that you do all of the time is if you just put it in the front focus. And then you could be doing it all the time and you're not even self-aware of, wow, this thing can completely die on me if I just focus on it, you know? So can you live most of your day focusing on it and then applying it to everything that you do? It's really that simple, you know?
Yeah. My wife and I, we do a yoga class together, and we were at it the other week. And ever since coming to Embrace North, I've definitely been more mindful of breathing, whether I'm doing the showers or even just in a workout or throughout my day. But I was very like breath conscious during the class. And so I was breathing, in through my nose, just those deep belly breaths, and then, pushing my stomach in on the exhale. And just like my breath was probably pretty loud, because I think normally I'm like, I don't want to like be the loud guy in class. But I was breathing, and like the instructors are always like, I don't hear anybody breathing, but she actually like pointed me out and was like, you should be thankful to have like a neighbor who's breathing loud, because it just reminds you. Because I think a tendency in yoga is like a lot of times you end up holding your breath and you don't even realize it. So yeah, that's definitely been a change that I've experienced.
Totally.
I told you guys I was going to ask you to do two things. You did the first one. You kind of fleshed out how the brands work together. The other thing, since we're uncommon, typically on shows, they do the bios at the beginning. I'm going to do the bios right now. And because because we're uncommon, we don't believe in writing our own bio. So I thought it'd be fun to put both of you on the spot and have you just come up with a brief bio for the other guy. So where they're from, their family, personal interests. And then what's one word you feel best captures like who they are as a man? So, and I'll start, because I would never ask my guests to do something I'm not willing to do. So, my one word for Harrison, for you, is inspiring. So your positive attitude, just the way you explained and taught us like to practice mindful breathing. Even I think you shared your story of like leaving your real estate job to pursue your passion that you're doing now was just very inspiring. So wanted to share that with you. And then Louise, my word for you is leader. So obviously, like, you guys are pioneers starting this Fire and Ice movement. I really couldn't find any other companies doing remotely the same thing. And I'm like, we got to bring something like this to Iowa ASAP. But in our time at Embrace North, and we were doing the cold plunge, your ability to communicate and coach us, especially when you led our guy Gabe, who was really kind of resistant to the cold water. I just remember you like locking in on him, and just your leadership shining through as you encouraged him. You really instilled in him the confidence to like believe in himself and overcome that fear. So it's something he's still talking about. So wanted to affirm you guys in that. But yeah, feel free to hit me with your bios for each other and your words, and this will be fun.
Cool. I like it. I'll kick it off.
Okay.
So Luis Leonardo, originally from Guatemala. Now he lives in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. He has a wife named Sarah and two twin babies, Lucas and Sophia, that are 3 years old. He also has an ex-wife that lives out in Colorado and has a son named Noah, and Ellie, a daughter, with her as well. So he's got a whole squad under him. My word for Luis is magnetic. And the reason I say that is because he welcomes people with open arms, and it doesn't matter who you are or what your title is. He'll invite you to have a conversation with him, and he'll just listen to you. The community he created at Embrace North was strictly because of his spirit. and his magnetism, you know, so it's polarizing. It's crazy how people just get radiated to him. It's infectious. So that's my bio and word for Luis.
That's awesome. I'll say real quick, even before you share, Luis, like, yeah, I heard you on a podcast and just your story was like captivating and magnetic. And I'm like, man, if I can ever like meet this guy or like go to the place. And then months later, when I was planning this event, I was like, no brainer. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, at some point there's gonna be a book. You know, there's a very long story about my life, and
It's in the
TV
works.
show, man. TV
Yeah.
show.
It works.
A
Yeah.
whole documentary.
Yeah. Well, my bio, Harrison Klein, he's originally from Wisconsin and lives in St. Louis Park, Minnesota now, which is like 10 minutes away from our headquarters here. Yeah, he comes from a family of 3 siblings, two siblings, a boy and a girl. You're the second one, right?
Middle.
Yep, you're the middle guy. I'm the second guy in my family, just FYI. Yeah, I also have to mention that your dad, Harrison's dad, Tom, was with us this last weekend with Ice Camp, and I kid you not, he's such a good friend and an incredible human being, and getting to know your dad was a very big reflection of who Harrison is. It kind of made me understand Harrison even more. And Anna, so Harrison is dating this great friend of mine too, Anna, who is a yoga instructor, and she's been helping us a lot with our retreats and the stuff that we do, and she also coaches some yoga classes out of here. But yeah, Harrison is, my word for Harrison is light. He is a light in my life. I kid you not, doesn't matter what day of the week is, if I know that I'm gonna get to see him or be around him, there's this light, this aura that kind of goes in front of me, and it's a very loving, positive energy that he brings out of me into the world. So he's like a light. He's a very powerful light in my life, you know. So that's my word for him.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
bro.
Very
Thanks,
cool.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun exercise, huh?
That is a
Yeah.
fun exercise.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys sharing and doing the work that I would otherwise have to do to come up with a bio. So that's perfect. One thing I want to touch on, we were talking before we started recording, was just the kind of the update on the legalized sauna situation and just kind of what you guys are navigating in your business. And I would love for you guys to kind of provide some background and kind of what the status is and how people can get involved. Like I signed the petition, but if there's anything else that people can do, like what would you say?
I think I mean, this is still a very gray area. All of the sauna and cold therapy industry. I mean, it's a shame that this happened to us, but at the same time, it's a sign that we're the leaders in this industry in terms of Embrace North, like growing to the volume that we grew in almost no time. That's a very powerful indication of this is a current trend, and it's a trend that is going to stick around. So I think the best way for people to help with this lifestyle, this thing that we do, is just to keep speaking out loud about this and sharing it with other people. Even getting a hold of the city, you know, like if you live in Minnesota and you still believe on all of this type of stuff, I feel like there needs to be more self-aware or more education on how powerful this thing is for people. And it's such a shame that like they just pointed, these are the issues that you guys have, you know. It started with a zoning issue. Okay, we need to probably fence the back area, make it private, you know. We could fix that. Can you guys work with us? And then scale into, well, saunas are a sexual oriented business, wrong category. And this is this was written back in the 80s or maybe even the 60s. I don't know when this category took place on this type of business. And saunas are not a sexual oriented business, you know. And that's something that I believe they're switching right now. So positive came out of that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the hardest one was like, then they came after there's air pollution coming from 3 saunas that are parked in the back of the space here, and they measure the air quality, and they were playing that card with us, you know. So to be honest with you, there's a lot of back and forth with all of this. We could have easily go and fight with the city and try to figure all of this out, but at the same time, it's like, well, we're growing. We know we want to move into having electric saunas indoors, and we want to clean our act more. And it's not worth for us going into a massive battle with the city right now, where we can actually keep moving forward. And there's a lot of other sauna businesses here and all over the country that are also dealing with issues with the way that like they might be providing cold water. There was a very big sauna festival that happened here in Minneapolis, probably like a month before we had our shutdown, you know, and that they had commercial grade cold plunges there. And this is a company, Cold Plunge, has been developing cold plunges now for a while. They're the leading company in cold plunge. And they have this machine that they claim is a commercial grade tub, and the city of Minneapolis came and they were like, yep, this thing doesn't fly here and you guys need to shut those off, you know. So I think all of this is still evolving. There's a lot of gray area with all of this. My hope is that people can continue to speak loud about how much it has impacted them. So people in the very high end of the governor or people that are involved in trying to figure out this type of businesses can actually start investigating further and realizing like, hey, we got to work with these guys. You know, we got to figure how we can incorporate rules that are going to affect in a positive way this new trend that is becoming, and actually asking people, you know, like I was sad that like there was no effort on asking 900 people, hey, tell me the story here. What's been going on in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, that is the most powerful thing. Like if we believe that we are doing things to help society and the community, we should be asking those questions to people, you know, like, and it's a growing monster. All of this, I kid you not, like I can guarantee you that in 5 years, every household is going to have a sauna, you know? So it's like, can we investigate this more and start working with these people, you know? And from a different point of view, like, I mean, this could bring so much growth to a state, a town. Like I'm talking Minnesota in general, you know, like I want to turn this place into the mecca of cold water therapy, you know, like I want people flying from out of town, from all over the nation and international, to come to Minneapolis to go jump on a frozen lake and learn what it does to you, you know? So I'm very hopeful that all of this is growing pains that we're going through right now, and that things are just going to keep getting better and more dial. It's unfortunate that we're on the front end, you know, and we're the first ones that get hit, but that's okay. We're the good thing about sauna and cold therapy is like
you become resilient.
You become resilient and you calm down. You know, you're not gonna be fighting with people. It's like, hey, this is like, let's keep moving forward here. So that's kind of like my biggest takeaway, and I encourage people to, if you have never done this type of stuff, try it and see what happens to you. And then if you can start speaking about it, the more we speak about it, the more buzz we generate about all of this. And I think eventually they're going to have to continue to open the doors more and more for this type of lifestyle, you know?
And really, you know, the city didn't have any code or regulations beyond it. I come from the real estate world. You know, I did that for 4 years, so I understand this. And you have to make sure you check things off with the city. And Embrace North opened during the pandemic, so it kind of opened in the Wild West too, you know. So there wasn't a lot of oversight at that time, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And now a year and a half later, there's 3 wood burning saunas in the backyard, and it's 1,000 members. So there's a lot of people coming around. So neighbors are like they're starting to talk more, and the city, they want you to go ahead and tell them that before they hear it from other people. So they just didn't really want to work with Embrace on it. And the air pollution was an issue. And then the commercial grade, you need a commercial grade cold tub that has ADA accessibility and passes spa pool codes. So that we had just big grizzly coolers. So that's another reason, So ultimately, it's going to set a new precedent for what sauna and cold therapy can be. And the city's going to have to rewrite the rules. And that's what's happening right now. But that everything with the cities and government takes months, So like what Luis was saying, this was the first blow, and now it's going to set new precedents to clear up gray area for how sauna and cold therapy can be integrated in businesses going forward. So ultimately, it's a good thing. And, Embrace North is going to go to a new location and still have affordable sauna and cold therapy. It's going to have to be indoors now, electric saunas, and then a big commercial grade cold tub that they're working on developing. But for us here, this is the Sauna Papi headquarters as well. And we're not going to go away from saunas because Luis is the Sauna Papi. This is part of the lifestyle. This is the stuff we do every day. So we're going to find a way to integrate a whole center around the lifestyle, which includes sauna, which right now it's going to include cold showers. It's going to include breathwork programming, knees over toes training type things. So our intention isn't to shy away from saunas because the city shut it down. It's to understand how we can integrate it in the current use that we have in our businesses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And God works all things for good, right? And even before we recorded, Louise, you were sharing just how you've kind of equated it to Jesus asleep in the boat during the storm. Not that you're asleep by any means, but you have peace in the raging seas around you. And it's not like, okay, how do we like rush around in our own wisdom and power and try to like figure this out as quickly as possible? It's like, how do we sit for a beat and just trust in God to bring us through this, right?
Yeah, take a deep breath and let him do the heavy lifting for us, and showing us the way that we need to be going after. And ultimately, we only have one day at a time.
Yeah.
What's done is done. The future, I don't know it. I don't know when my life is gonna end. All I have is this very moment, and so just working on being present and literally trusting God 100%, not 99, 100% trusting Him. Okay, God, you're in control. I have no power above you. You are in control, and I want you to take it. And I'm gonna sit still, know that you're in control, and I don't need to be panicking, even if it's raining and the sea is throwing all these waves at us right now. Like, calm down. You're with me. I got you here, and I believe in that. And I believe that it's all happening for a very powerful reason, you know?
One thing we say is, we don't have the answer. God has the answer for us, and He doesn't do it when we want it to happen. He gives us the answer when it's the time, so we really surrender to that kind of overarching modality and mindset. And that's why you pray a lot. And that's why we know what we're doing is positive and powerful, and it's serving people. So if you have those foundations and you trust in it and you're confident and passionate, it's going to work out whatever way it is going to work out. We just got to kind of sit back and let God do the work for us.
For sure. Yeah, kind of in bringing our time to a close, I've just got one more question, and then on the note of prayer, I would love to just close our time in prayer. And yeah. So I'm a fan of visualization and just the idea of like designing my compelling future within, God's sovereign will. And a verse that I go back to time and time again is Ephesians 3:20. It says, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work in us." It reminds me like, yes, I need to pray, but I also need to be like asking God to do some pretty like audacious things. If it says like He does more than I ask, then I should be asking Him to do some crazy things, right? So my question for you guys is, if you were to kind of visualize 10, 20 years into the future, what is the big, bold dream or design that you're praying for God to fulfill in your guys' business and in this movement?
Mine is I want people to slow down, and I want them to be present. I feel like we're living in this society that is everything is fast forward, fast paced. You're slacking if you're not working hard enough, and if you're not making enough money, if you're not going after having a house, having cars, saving X amount of money. Is like, to me, to be honest with you, like my idea of being rich is having more time to be present. So I hope, my prayer is for the future of people to be able to get back to those basic roots where you can actually have real community, real sense of what it feels to be human, and feel that, be happy with nothing, with very simple things. Because it's not this hamster wheel, and it's not the next thing that you need to be buying or the next vacation that you need to go do. It's like, no. You just like, can you own your present moment and be fulfilled with that? And it's so powerful. It is so powerful, like, and I have lots of glimpses of that through my day, because I try to live with a lot of intention when I'm doing things, but my biggest thing as a dad is like, my future is like being with my kids, like, it's like, can I just play with them? Can I actually play with them and not be thinking of any other thing, but just being there and them sharing a smile, sharing a hug, sharing a meal, holding my wife's hand, like, those are the most powerful things. And that's the stuff that I believe that's what I'm going to remember when I go to heaven. And those are the things that God is going to be looking at, So it's living with that intention and that mindset. Like, can you own your present moment and be living life the way that it's supposed to be,
Yeah. And for it's pretty similar for me. For me, in 10 years, I'm hoping everybody understands the simplicity is happiness, and that we have these tools within us. So we're not looking for all these externals to control our life, but we use our breath, and we use nature, and we use family and community to fill us up, so hopefully we're partying in the mornings and we're doing breath work and cold showers instead of partying at night and staying out till 2 p.m. Hopefully we're not worrying about work when we go to bed, but we're having good time with our family before. So ultimately in 10 years, I hope everybody's really integrating the lifestyle we're trying to live, and not to be egotistic about the lifestyle we live, but because it's making us step back, show love, serve, be happy, and keep things simple, and in whatever way you reach it, it's perfect. But again, breath is everywhere and it's everything. So I hope everybody's breathing sound in 10 years through their nose into their lower belly. And I hope little kids have programs to develop their breath, when they're young, so they don't become dysfunctional breathers like we do. And then I hope as we age, we learn about lung capacity and how that's the greatest indicator of our lifespan, not diet, exercise, or genetics, So I hope we unwind all this information and technology overload and make it back to the simplicity of what we have within us.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both beautiful dreams. I'm right there with you. Poppy stick in every household, right?
Yes.
Well, sweet. I'd love to close our time in prayer.
Thank you.
Sound good to you guys?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Heavenly Father, thank you again for this day. Lord, thank you for the breath in our lungs. Just the things we don't think about, the things we take for granted. Help us to be more conscious of things like our breath and our health and relationships, and even just the small things, a smile from our loved one, or just the sun on our skin. You are the giver of all good things, Lord. And I just thank you for the way that you bring people together, bring people into our lives, for times that we need, and times to be encouraged by them, and also offer encourage and value to them. And I can honestly say Louise and Harrison have both even though I've only, just met them, they've added a lot of value and encouragement to me. And I hope I've done the same for them. I thank you just for this conversation that we've been able to have today, and pray that we and the listeners alike are just encouraged and inspired to get back to the simple things, and also to see the value of times where you kind of force us to slow down and to really take stock of what our values are and what you've called us to, and just our relationship with you, and that is of greater value than all earthly wealth. So yeah, Lord, I pray for your blessing and your favor over their business as they're currently closed, Lord. Just that it's so much more than a physical location. It's just a movement and a lifestyle that they're promoting, and they can do that whether the doors are open or closed. But we do pray also that you would open those doors swiftly, so that just their community can come back together. Um, Whether they're doing it at the Embrace North location or at one of their ice camps just on a frozen lake, we thank you that, yeah, as long as we are intentional to get together with the people that are important with us, we can always enjoy community in your name. So we ask this all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you
Alright.
so much,
Thank you
Ryan.
so much.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stop the recording.